Hey guys, welcome to this beautiful August day. We are right at the height of summer. Some of you have gone on holidays, planning to go on one, or simply spending time at home with family and friends. Whatever you are doing, I hope you are having a good time, but most importantly, factoring in some time to rest. And that is rest from your usual daily routines, work, education, and so on. Leads rather nicely to what I want to briefly talk about, and that is rest. But before I continue, I have these 4 questions I want to leave with you, and I want to encourage you to reflect on each of the questions and give it an honest response. First one is this: what keeps you from resting or taking time to reflect on your journey, what you have been doing, what you have achieved, your struggles, and so on? Second, when was the last time you felt truly rested? And I mean spiritually, mentally, emotionally, physically, and so on. Third, is your rest usually refreshing or simply a distraction? I know some who really struggle to stop. The worst thing you can do for them is to make them stop what they're doing or being busy. So they somehow gain more energy by occupying themselves. Are you such a person? If you are, when do you actually get moments to refuel, to feed yourself so you can carry on going? And then lastly, what might God be trying to say to you when you eventually get to that point when you're resting or in the stillness? Because you're so busy that you don't usually make time for Him. So what do you think when you get there eventually God might want to say to you? And then as we move on, I want to look at 2 perspectives of rest. One is from a world perspective and the other one is a biblical perspective. Nothing too special here, just some words I've come up with, maybe I've heard people say or read, and I think they sum up at a very high level what these perspectives may look like. So the worldview: rest is often something that is a temporary escape from stressful and exhausting situations, usually focused on the physical or mental distractions, those things that keep us very busy and occupied. It tends to revolve around some form of entertainment. We take a break to go and get entertained. Leisure, maybe we'll go on a holiday somewhere where we have never been, or just away from home, so we're not being occupied by the daily chores. Or indulgence. That is, maybe we decide to treat ourselves or spoil ourselves with something we don't often do on a regular basis. These things would offer a brief relief from what we're going through, but rarely something that is lasting or a lasting peace. Unlike biblical rest, it doesn't really address the needs of the soul or draw us any closer to what God's will is for us or His purpose for each one of us, but instead it simply pauses the pressure we are under for a moment without having that deeper healing, which is key in dealing with the weariness, the exhaustion, the tiredness we are going through. On the other hand, biblical rest is something that is holy and intentional, stopping things that we are doing because we know and trust in God, God that provides and looks after us on a daily basis. It is not just the absence of activity, but the presence of peace, which is rooted in our relationship with God, knowing that He is the one who truly provides that restoration that we need for the soul. It invites us to stop working so hard. While that is important, not just being on a go all the time, but instead reflect and abide in God's presence, knowing that who we are, that is our identity, and security, the provisions, the taking care of, are found in God and God alone. He is the architect of all those things that we need. This rest brings about a spiritual clarity, a renewal, and a deeper connection with God. Now, while rest can be seen as something that is a luxury by some, it isn't really so. It is a command and a gift we are all given by God. No matter what you do, where you're at in the world, this is something that you are entitled to. We have these aging bodies. We get tired. We get hurt and so forth. So we need time to pause and fix those things, be restored so we can carry on. And this reflection helps us to align our lives with God's will for us, His purpose for each one of us. So I want us to look at some of the biblical examples that will help us cement this idea of rest. The first one is this: God models rest. And we can find this in Genesis 2:2-3. By the seventh day, God had finished the work He had been doing. So on the seventh day, He rested from all His work. Here we see a God that has everything that He needs, that is above what our understanding of the world and business and time is. He never tires. Therefore, He doesn't need to rest at all, but yet He chooses to do so. So if He can do so, how much more do you think we as human beings need? Do we need to take time out to rest? I believe the answer is yes. Second, rest is a commandment. Exodus 20:8-10. Remember the Sabbath day by keeping it holy. 6 days you shall labor, but the seventh day is a Sabbath to the Lord your God. Very similar to the first one. We are busy doing things all the time, but we need to factor in a time to rest. So here, Sabbath is not about doing nothing, but it's about intentional rest, an opportunity for us to reconnect with God and renew our purpose. Third, Jesus took time to rest and reflect. Mark 6:31. Then, because so many people were coming and going that they did not even have a chance to eat, He said to them, "Come with me by yourselves to a quiet place and get some rest." Even in the busiest ministry season, we see Jesus pausing because He knew the value of stepping away and resting. Rest enables us to serve better, no matter what ministry we are in, whether we are in a Christian ministry or we simply work for companies or institutions in our communities, in our country. We need to make time to step away and rest so that we can come back ready to do more for our communities and our people. Fourth, rest leads to restoration. Psalms 23:1-3. The Lord is my shepherd. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He refreshes my soul. Isaiah 40:31. But those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles. They will run and not grow weary. They will walk and not be faint. God doesn't just allow rest, He leads us to it. And it is when we follow His lead that we are restored. Again, I said earlier that He is the architect of everything. He knows what we need. He has carefully planned and put in place things that we need. He has showed us examples of what we need to be doing by doing it himself, even though he didn't need to do that. But that was there for our benefit. So here, some key words: lying down in green pastures, refreshing my soul, renewing my strength, and then soaring on wings like eagles, that energy, that strength we need. All those things only comes when we follow God's lead and His provisions. And then fifth, reflection keeps us aligned with God. Psalms 46:10. Be still and know that I am God. We see this word still or stillness being introduced here. Now, I want to take you back to a movie you may have watched where there's so much going on, and then sometimes everything is paused around the main character. They're wandering around, and then it's almost like you press a pause button and everything else around freezes. People freeze for a moment. There's no sound, there's no movement, there's nothing other than this one individual looking around, like a 360 degrees sort of looking around and going, oh my word, nothing. In a quietness, it's just you. But in that moment, what we've got to be thinking about is God is outside our time. So He isn't affected by all things that are going on. He isn't paused. He's still going on doing what He usually does. When He's calling out, when He is speaking to us, that moment everything is so clear. Because our eyes are no longer consuming so much of movement. Our ears are not taking so much of the noise. We consume so much on a daily basis when you think about it. And some of the stuff we consume is not good for us. And being careful what we take in and what we leave out is very important. That moment of stillness gives us an opportunity to only take in what God wants us to take in. So here this word of stillness is very important. It is the doorway to that deeper knowledge, understanding of who God is. And without reflection, we lose sight of His presence and purpose. And then 6, Jesus spent time alone with the Father. Luke 5:16. In this book of Luke, we see Jesus withdrawing to lonely places and praying. Solitude with God is where clarity and strength are found. When we pause, we create space for that divine direction. Take time out. Go for a walk on your own, half an hour or an hour, even away from your family and friends. It's not a selfish thing, but something that is healthy. It is sometimes in those moments that we hear clearly what God is saying to us. And by going away, we go and get restored. We have a revelation, something that we can bring back to our loved ones and bless them with what God has been saying. So God is all about love and looking out for all of us. In that moment, He's filling you and feeding you so you can come back and share with those you left behind. So make time to do that in the same way that Jesus was able to do. Step away to that place on His own and pray, talk to God, and listen to Him. Sometimes that is necessary. So finally, I want to leave you with a few points, more of a call to action or application really. As you enjoy this summer, whatever you've been doing, I want to encourage you to pick a time each week, maybe each day, not necessarily restricted to summer, but make this your normal. This is a time when you can stop and plug from your daily routines, things that occupy your mind all the time, and reflect while reconnecting with God. Make a note when you are in that time of what God may be teaching you, revealing to you, showing you. These things are important because we can look back and reflect on them. And in a way, it's a good way of testing what God was saying to us, whether it's come to pass or not. Maybe God has been asking you to do something for the benefit of others. If you don't make a note of that, you're probably going to forget and you feel really bad about it. So make a note of those things. So make time to be still and silence in God's presence, listening out His voice. Remember that picture of a pause button being pressed in the movie and everyone around is frozen. Even the birds are not going back and forth. The noise is no longer there and it's just God. Be in that moment with Him and listen to His voice carefully. And then once you've done all this, you've taken a note of what God has been saying. Share those experiences with others to help them. You'll be amazed of how many people will benefit from what we have to say. And there may just be that person out there waiting desperately to be encouraged, to be helped along the way, to hear a word that will make them do something that is beneficial for them, for their faith, and just for their life generally. So share those things, never hold them back. They're not just for you, but they're for those people around you, for the community, for your family, for your friends, and so on. So enjoy this time, really, really enjoy this time. Rest from your hectic life and fold this into your daily routines, even when you're back from holiday or when summer is over. Take care, pray with someone, encourage someone, and be accountable to one another. Bless you.